Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Understable Discourse. Here we are, the best place for all your disc golf content and news out there on the internet space. And we're here for the fourth time in a row recording this video. Boy, oh boy, it's been a long one. But we're going to be talking about the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship going down here in Lynchburg, Virginia. Let's get into it. Now, like I said, this is the fourth time I've attempted recording this. The first several times, the internet dropped out here. And the last time, the internet stayed on long enough for me to record a real quick video for you guys. But it turns out that this Airbnb's Wi-Fi has a bunch of extra firewall restrictions that don't really play well with the file format that comes out of the video program that I use. So we've done some crazy maneuvering, and we're going to pivot a little bit, so I apologize if this video is faster than it typically, or shorter than it typically should be, or if the quality is different. But listen, we've been here for 31 straight weeks, and we have not missed a week, and we are not going to miss one just because of some silly Wi-Fi in an Airbnb. All right, we're going to make this happen for you people. But the Disc Golf Pro Tour is descending once again upon Lynchburg, Virginia, and I am here. I'm here for the Pro Tour Championship. There is an amateur side playing. I am playing in that, but I'm also here to do some spectating and create some content and have a good time while I'm down here. So let's get into it. This year, the Pro Tour is playing at both New London and Ivy Hill for the Pro Tour Championship, which is where we saw the host for the 2024 World Championships. And I think a lot of pros are pretty excited. They're going to be coming back here again next year twice to split up the courses between Champions Cup and the Pro Tour Championship, which there are some opinions on that. But at least this year we're getting both courses, and I think it's going to be a very great finish to the season. And I'm super excited. Over on my side, I get to play both New London and Ivy Hill for the amateur side. But Ivy Hill, we'll start there, is a beast of a course. It is the open, very up and down, hilly ball golf course that just requires so much distance control, angle control, because you're throwing uphill, you're throwing downhill, there are water carries. It is it's a very long and taxing course, and it's just difficult to play. And I think we're going to see a lot of very interesting scoring separation in different parts of this course. Is predominantly 99% the same as it was for the the World Championships back in 2024. The only two things: number one, the typical thing we've seen from the Pro Tour this year of sort of tightening the OB lines a little bit. So we're seeing that happen yet again. And then I'm not excited to be on the receiving end of that, playing Ivy Hill myself, but we're seeing that happen from them yet again. And the other change, the only actual change to the course, is that there is a new design for hole 6 for the MPO. So typically hole 6, which is what the FPO is still playing this year, is the downhill hole thrown from like a shed or shack up top of a hill down to a very narrow strip of a green, and it's only about 350 feet, so it's a little less than that, and it's a fun shot to watch a lot of players throw because it requires such control. If you're throwing something slower, you have to be careful of the glide, just having it go blasting past the basket, and throwing anything high speed might be too much or might get a skip that just takes any chance of getting a birdie whatsoever. So it's a very difficult hole in terms of, like, it's not super long, but it's complex in the way you approach the green. And so that's a lot of fun. But they've changed it, so now there is a new hole for hole 6 for the MPO field. They took the tee pad, they moved it way off to the right, and now they have a slightly downhill 557-foot par 3. It is a beast. To carry the OB, you have to throw at least 400 plus, and the basket has been placed into the wood line a little bit. I think it's them trying to add a little bit more wooded complexity to the course. I don't know that it translates as well as they'd like it to. In the Jomez practice round between AB, Yuli, and Ricky, they were talking about how the last part of the hole is so kind of lucky that almost everyone's going to be taking pars because everyone in the field can throw that 400 feet. It's just going to come down to how far the trees let you advance into the green area, and I think we saw like Yuli had like a 75-footer, Ricky caught an early tree, so he pitched up to the basket, and AB had like a deep C2 putt. So they're saying it's going to be a lot of pars, not going to be a very great score separation, but we'll see. It's one of the holes that we'll be tracking after the event is over to see what the total outcome of that's going to be. But Ivy Hill is going to be that course where, the first 2 rounds are at New London. The players are trying to protect their scores over there at New London, and then coming out and trying to shoot as hot as they can at Ivy Hill, which is interesting because for some players, it's the opposite. Like last year, you look at a player like Anthony Barella, who shot a combined, I think, 15 down at New London across 2 rounds and a combined 2 down at Ivy Hill, which seems completely antithetical to what we're used to seeing out of AB. But I think for most players, Ivy Hill is where they're going to have to make the moves that they want to make in order to win. And it's the last 2 courses they're going to play on Saturday and Sunday because it's a much more, I would say, friendly course for spectators. So that's where they're going to be. Jumping over to New London, it's a monster. It's a monster. I think technically it's the same distance or just a little bit longer than Ivy Hill, but it's all through the woods. And for those who don't know or don't remember, New London, as we saw it last year, is completely different. Due to some development stuff in the area, 9 holes were just completely destroyed and have been changed to a new set of 9 holes that are even harder. And the old 9 holes were adjusted to make them more difficult, and it's a very difficult track. And we're seeing that that sort of opinion come from players on tour. Andrew Presnell put out a post that this is the hardest course that he's ever played, bar none. And I'm hearing similar sentiments from a lot of other people in the field. This is probably one of the hardest wooded tracks that's ever been put together. And not only is it difficult, it's long. It's over 12,000 feet for the MPO field, about 9,500 feet for the FPO field. And not only is it long to play, but just to even walk, it's incredibly long. I remember being here earlier this year, not long after it was finished, and I played the course, and I actually didn't play too poorly, and I still walked, I want to say, over 8 miles just to play the course. It's brutal. There's some long walks between some of the holes. It is, and there's a couple holes where I think hole 9, the elevation change just to get from the fairway to the tee pad is like 100-foot climb up a hillside. It's exhausting. So we're going to see players really put themselves to a physical test this week as they try to navigate these 2 courses for 4 total rounds plus all the practice rounds. It's going to be brutal. It's a real testament to their ability to stay locked in for the entire time that they're out here, which is going to be difficult for everyone. I'd love to take you through all of the changes to New London to show you all of the details for the new holes and the changes to the old holes, but I'll be honest with you, it would take just as long as it would to play the course. There's so much to look at. I would heavily recommend checking out one of 2 videos, and I'll put them here on screen, and I'll put the URLs in the description for the video down below, so make sure to go check it out. I would go over to Foundation Disc Golf's YouTube channel, and I know that I do work with them on stuff. This isn't me just like blindly promoting them because they're Foundation. I don't know that there are any 2 people who've probably played and examined New London from what it was before to what it is now more than Hunter and Trevor, because they use it for their content so much, and they're good enough to like appreciate the difficulty of the course. And so there's 2 videos. The first one is the very first look ever at the new changes at New London. It's a raw video, and they really break down the course and the differences and the difficulties, and it's in like 90% of what we're going to see this weekend, so it's a great video to check out. And the second video is their first monthly match at the course. It's not a full breakdown of every single hole and the changes that they've made, but it looks pretty much identical to what you're going to see this weekend. So I would check out those 2 videos. Like I said, the links will be in the description down below for you to check out. But it's going to be brutal, and I think we're going to have to see players play exceptionally well, especially because of the format. Speaking about the format, the way it works, if you're not familiar, is the players who finish the season with the highest point totals for the tour standings have been given a stroke advantage. And then depending on where you finished at, you get less of a stroke advantage all the way down the line until you have the people who finished, of the people who qualified, finished last. Lisa Fakis, Madison Walker, and your wild card spots, Sophia Donica and now Raven Klein, because Haley King had to withdraw due to some injury and personal reasons. They are all starting at even par. And then you walk all the way up the line to Holland Handley, who's starting at 8 under par. So that's the advantage of playing well during the year. And, for the FPO field, I think this isn't too much of an insurmountable lead to take care of because we've seen wild score changes in the FPO division. But I still don't think, I'll be frank, I don't know that, the play like Rebecca Cox, Annika Sten, Henna Blomroos, Jessica Gerthy, Lisa Fakis, Madison Walker, Raven Klein, or Sophia Donica. I don't think they have a chance here because to already be that far back from some more consistent players is going to be difficult. Personally, I think the lowest I'd be willing to go on the list to say they have a chance is Evelina Salonen, who's going to start 6 strokes back of Holland. And that's only because Evelina is one of the best, if not the best, thrower of the disc off the tee on the FPO tour. And these two courses require incredible tee shot capabilities and distance. And Evelina has those in spades. Also, she won the 2024 World Championships that happened at both these two courses. So I would say she's the furthest down the list I would go. And I even question whether some of these players are going to have the ability to navigate these courses with the distance requirements. Personally, for me, I think of the players you can see here on screen for the FPO field, I think your winner is going to come from one of 6 players. I think it's going to come from Evelina, probably Valerie, Manahano, Kat Murch, Silva Sarn, and Missy Gannon and Holland Handley. Now you'll notice that I left out Owen Scoggins there. And that's not me discrediting Owen for being an incredible player, because she is. I know every time we think, oh man, these courses just don't play well for her distance, and she still finishes incredibly well. She won the World Championships. She currently holds 2 World Championships right now. But when you look at her performance last year at these 2 courses, the distance was a significant problem for Owen. She finished 2 over par at the World Championships, 20 strokes back from the leader. And I just don't know that Ivy Hill, with 2 rounds finishing there, puts her in a good position to score. So while I would love to be proven wrong about that, I just don't see Owen outperforming these other 6. Maybe a couple of them, but not all 6 of them. So I think, honestly, if you're forcing me to pick somebody, I think Misty Gannon's playing too well right now. I mean, I know she has her mistakes here or there, but the rest of the field is so volatile. I think that Missy stands the best chance, especially if she can get out to a decent, using her stroke advantage, getting out to a decent lead and being consistent through New London. I know that she doesn't have the world's greatest distance when it comes to Ivy Hill, but I think she has enough to be incredibly competitive. And then I'm going to say it's probably going to be, I'd say Evelina Salonen in third place, and I'll put Silva there in second because Silva's playing solid disc golf, with the exception of the last 4 holes of USDGC or Throw Pink this past weekend. I don't know that I trust Holland right now and her consistency to play as well as she could to be in that podium conversation. And I've got Valerie up there. Kat played really well at World Championships, so I think she could do well. But Valerie, this kind of reminds me of a more difficult version of Ledgestone, which was Northwood and Sunset Hills for the ladies. So I could see Valerie playing well here as well. But I think I'm going to have to give the nod to Missy Gannon here. Looking at the MPO side, I think the stroke advantage gets a lot more egregious here. It's Gannon with an 8-stroke lead, which is just one of the scariest things I think you could tell anybody is hey, by the way, Gannon's going to start 8 strokes ahead of you. Thanks for coming to the event. And so because of that reason, I don't know that anyone starting more than 4 strokes away from Gannon has any chance to win here. And that's not to say they can't. This is the Pro Tour. Anything could happen. Simon's putter could get hot and he could go absolutely bananas. But to me, I think that maybe Adam Hammes and Nicolas Antala are the lowest I'd be willing to go on this list in terms of people who could win. Adam has one of the best ceilings in disc golf if he plays to his potential. So we'll see. We'll see what we get from Adam. And then Nicolas is always a threat, I think, anywhere you go. But to me, I think it's going to be one of the top 6. It's going to be Gannon, Calvin, Isaac, Macbeth, Ricky, or AB. We saw on Tour Life last night, if you haven't watched it, we interviewed Anthony Barella, and he said that he's really focused on this event and would like to do well, especially considering how he played kind of poorly to his standards last year when they were here. So I could see him doing very well. If he can clean it up at Ivy Hill, he's going to be a menace because he plays New London really well. At least he has in the past. I know it's a bit different, but I could see him excelling well there. But I don't know that I can pick anyone outside Gannon to win this thing. I think it's got to be Gannon taking down the win, and I'm going to say Calvin comes in second, and AB probably comes in third. I think of the top 6, Isaac is probably going to have your worst finish, and I know that's crazy considering he won a world championship on these 2 courses. I just don't know about his game right now. Maybe he's like gearing up for this one, but I think he underperforms of the top 6 point finishers for the MPO field. Those are my predictions for the event itself. But hey, I mean, that does it for what I think about the events. It's going to be a lot of fun being out here seeing these 4. It's going to be a testament to consistency, power, and just the physical prowess needed to even do 4 rounds in a row of these 2 incredibly long and complicated courses. And I don't know. But as for me, I'm headed out here to New London to go do a practice round. By the time you're listening to this, I'm probably through 10 or 11 holes, sweating bullets on the course, trying to maintain my composure and not take any more bogeys because it's a brutal track out there. But let me know what you think about the event. Do you like New London and Ivy Hill as a place for the Tour Championship? Who do you think is going to come out and do the winning this upcoming weekend? And how do you feel about the season kind of being at its end? It's sad to say. If you like what you saw today, make sure you hit that like button, click the subscribe button. It's the best way you can help the growth of our channel. We are literally, I think, a couple subscribers away from the big 100. We've grinded out here, people. It's been 31 weeks in a row. Who is going to be subscriber number 100? And it's just to the moon. We're going to learn we've learned a lot of lessons. We're going to do a lot of great things. But enough out of me. If you haven't already, go out and play some disc golf. Make sure you watch some disc golf. And until next time, this has been Understable Discourse. Catch you later.